Hey there, hi, my name is Mercury, and I am the Trans Handyman, and today is a great day to learn something new and help a stranger in the process. Let's go! Today's video is sponsored by iFixit. Now let's hear what the question of the day is.
Hi Mercury. How does one remove an old-fashioned doorstop from a wall? It's like that awkward piece of metal that sticks out from the wall, and it's there to stop the door from slamming against the wall. It's not the springy kind, though. The reason I want to remove it is because of my nightstand. I want it to be flush with the wall, and it's in the way of the nightstand. I can't move the bed over any further to make it flush with the wall, so I need help. How do I move that without damaging myself or the wall?
Well, that's a very good question. I just so happen to have a little stopper right here. So the one that you're having is pretty similar to this. If I take this off, even though this is a springy one, yours is pretty much the same though, because we're going to take this off and we're going to see underneath it that we have this little cap here that has a screw in it that's going to go right into the wall. And yours is probably going to have some type of similar mechanism that's going to go in the wall. But then this part right here slides right in here into the hole and twists right into it. So if you look behind it, you'll see that as it's tightening in there, the spring itself is just going right in there. Now, you don't have a springy one, but it will probably be a similar mechanism. So the way that we want to be able to take this off is using a channel locks or our pliers to try to spin it and try to get it off. I'm going to show you some things, and then we're going to talk about other stoppers that might work best for you. Okay? So let's go! Now you can see right here that I have one of the spring ones right here, but yours I think is going to be similar. What I think it is if you spin out the one that you have, you're going to see some type of faceplate like this that has a screw in there. I'm almost positive you will. I think it's kind of hiding underneath there, and I think it's stuck to the wall. I say with this one, since it is really hard for you to move it, and you're going to have a hard time with all that paint around there because you definitely have a landlord special that you've experienced. So we're going to take our pliers and we're going to hold it real tight on it, and we are going to spin it out. If you grab your pliers, and especially one that is elongated like this, that has a long handle, you're going to have more leverage when you apply it. So when you're turning, it's going to be easier for you to be able to spin it out, okay? Now that we have this one kind of removed and we can kind of see how this is, you probably will have some type of small hole that you're going to need to take care of. We use some type of wood putty to cover it up if you want to. But if we go up here, we'll see we have a different type of doorstop. This is called a convex doorstop. And if I just take it right here and just squeeze it, it will reveal that it has a faceplate. But this is stuck on with just command strips. And I can easily put it on just by squeezing it on the sides and just sliding it around there. Now, if you want a different kind, you can get a concave doorstop that has a screw right in the middle. Both of those might be better options for you, so give those a try and let me know. So on to the next question for the day. Let's go! I think we're ready for the next question for the day, so let's meet our new friends.
Hi, I love your TikToks. I have a question. My landlord just installed this bathroom vanity for me, but because it's taller than my last one, the cabinet base isn't flush to the wall because of the pipes. I'm afraid things may fall and get lost. How can I remedy this? Thank you, Linda.
Thank you for the question. So you got a vanity issue, and you have a unique issue. I don't want to hide the pipes on you, and I don't want to have a cutout that's going to potentially block the turning of the valves underneath there. So we're kind of going to do a fix that fixes the overall problem, but then also maybe supports you in another way. As a renter myself, I know very firsthand that cabinetry and vanities can go bad because of water damage. So we're also going to address water damage underneath the cabinet and see if there's some tips and tricks that may help you down the road, okay? So let's go and get a little bit messy. Well, hey there, hi. I'm just down here to take a look at your sink problem, okay? So you will see that back here, typically you have this flush right up against the wall, right? But for whatever reason, you're not able to. It's cut off right about here. Now, I would tell you in a lot of circumstances just to go right up, right? But I don't want to block all of the valves that are right here that are really handy and dandy. You don't want to cover those up. You also don't want to restrict them in any way, right? So what I think is the best way for us to fix this problem for you is to put a little bit of a lip. We're talking just like a little bit of a plywood lip that is going to go up here to prevent it from falling behind. And then we're going to line this with some rubber matting of various kinds, and then get you some dividers and some organizers to help keep everything nice and tight down here. And we can talk about why in just a second. So let's go. First, we're going to want to measure this just to make sure we get the right height. We're going to about 23 inches. And then we are going to make sure we get just enough height. So we're going to go with just about 3 inches to be enough of a lip to get the job done, okay? So let's go and cut that plywood. First things first, we're gonna cut up the piece of plywood in order to put the lip in the back. But before we do that, we wanna take into account the circular saw that we're using. See, this has a guard on here, right here. This is an extra 1.25 inches to take into account. So even though we said that we want to have about 3 inches, we're going to want to have 4.25 inches when we're cutting that. So we're now going to have to make sure that we mark it off and it's good to go. So let's make sure we mark it off. And all we got to do is just mark it off right here like this a few times and go all the way across. We don't need to be super precise for this specific cut, but we're going to try to get it nice and straight all the way across. So we're good to go. And then we can take our level and place it alongside the line like this. Get it as close to that line as possible. And then we're going to clamp it down and use this as a straight edge. Now, before we start cutting, we're always going to make sure that we're wearing our proper PPE, both our safety glasses and our earplugs. Then that's when we can put the battery into our circular saw, just like so, okay? Now, you will see right here that I have this nice and on here and good to go with a line, okay? So when I am taking the guard of the circular saw, I'm placing it up against the straight edge. And now it's going to cut that 3 inches that I want, okay? Here we go. And look at that, that wasn't too hard, was it? Now let's attach this to the back of the vanity and move on. Here's a little bit of an extra tip for you. If you ever have problems with staples in the floor, door, or anywhere you might have staples, I used to always call this a staple puller, but it is actually called an end nipper. And you can use this in order to pull them out. You just take the tip of it and you pull it back and forth, and that pulls the staple right out. Super handy, very easy, and just in case you didn't know, now you know. Now we cheated here. It's a lot easier for us to put this in the back of it than it is going to be for you, okay? And because you're going to have to be in there and you're going to have to be able to get this fastened onto the back of it there, it may be hard to use a staple gun or a drill. But you may be able to get away with this just by using wood glue and by using angle brackets behind it to hold it and support it. Or there might be another method that you're thinking of that may help you out. But for now, we're going to use the good old-fashioned wood glue and staples on our end, okay? If it works for you, good. If not, sorry. We're going to add that wood glue right in there. Get it nice and messy. Smear it in. Wipe away the excess. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's gonna get the job done. Let's look inside from the other angle and see what it looks like. Okay, we're gonna take a look right in here, and you can see that that lip's gonna mostly protect us from any problems that we're having. Now, we're also gonna add in a rubber liner And we're also going to add in some storage bins for you and see what's going to work there, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and add in some type of rubber mat. You can get a product that is specifically designed for this. There's an under the sink mat that's going to protect your cabinet. Now, the reason why I think this is so important because we have leaks sometimes, moisture can get in there, and all that can do is cause mold and build up and rot in that wood, and you don't want that to go bad, and you don't want to be held responsible for that as a renter. But we got some other options that are a little bit cheaper. We got car mats that might work best for you. If you got 1 or 2 car mats, you can put a car mat in there, put a little bit of your storage bins in there, and you're going to protect that wood at least a little bit. And you can even get it right underneath where the water may be, just in case you have any problems. Now, if you don't like that, you can also get yourself a boot mat that is also fairly affordable, $10. It won't fit in this one because this one's a very specific small size, but it may fit for you at home and it might be worth a try. The one we are going with is just a welcome mat that you can get anywhere. It has a rubber matting underneath there, and to be honest, it's kind of cute. So we're gonna throw that in there and then add some storage bins, and this is gonna protect us from any leaks or anything we might have underneath our sink. And also, only like $10, $15, that's a steal. Now that we have this mat in here and it looks pretty good, we're gonna take our storage bins and put all our things that we might need in here. Now the reason why I think that having these type of bins is super handy is because when you have things underneath here, it's going to be easy for it to fall back behind there like you're concerned about, and that's going to help prevent it. But also, if you have any problems and you need to have a plumber or any type of maintenance technician come over, grabbing these and taking them out is a whole lot easier than having someone just rummage through there and deal with all your personal belongings. It makes your life a lot easier and takes a lot of that stress off in your worst kind of moments at the worst time, okay? So yeah, there you go, we fixed it, and I hope that helps. You know, I think it's easy to forget to plan ahead sometimes. We get so caught up in our own little worlds that sometimes we just forget that things can go wrong. And when they do go wrong, boy, we regret not thinking about it to begin with. So be prepared when you can, think ahead when you can, and if you can't, that's okay. Do the best you can, and that's all we can ever ask for. I'm always prepared, even when there's a flood. I hope you have a great day, and remember, you're worth the time it takes to learn a new skill. Have a good day, take care, and bye-bye! Well, I used to always call this a staple puller, mother. Okay, ready? Now let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
You may be able to pull this off just with some wood glue or an anal bracket. And just like an anal bracket, you know, put that in there. Oh, wow.